Welcome to the Love Your Brain podcast, the podcast designed for everyday people who are ready to hop off the negative thought hamster wheel and enjoy a less hostile environment in their own brains. Our brains are where we live our entire lives, and I'm on a mission to help people see that they have everything they need to make it a happier place to be. So join us for this episode of the Love Your Brain podcast. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Love Your Brain podcast, or welcome if you're new. Now, I'll be honest, politics, the media, all of it, it's frankly not a topic that I usually enjoy talking about, but sometimes helpfulness is more important than just enjoyment. So we're going to go for it because I do think this content will be really helpful for you. And in the end, hopefully it will add fun to life because it will improve your long-term quality of life. So here we go. Now, let's start with the basics. Now, politics, specifically at its core, is created to help a collective group of people be able to live communally with each other. We see this as a nation, but even as you go down in politics to local level, its intended purpose was to help everyone live easily in community together. So I think it is important to just start with the understanding that politics at its core from the beginning was actually intended for good. Now, when politics is running the way that it's supposed to, usually it's something that as a culture we don't pay much attention to when it's working the way that we believe it should in the moment. It's usually something just running in the background, allowing us all to live freely in our normal day to day lives. It's kind of like air. We don't think much about air, it's just there, and we take advantage of it every second of every day. But if anything ever happens to that air, say maybe there's an issue with air quality, all of a sudden we realize, oh my word, it's terrifying. The air is not what we expected. It's somehow feeling unstable. We can't rely on it. And then all of a sudden, everyone feels like they have to be hyper attentive to the air quality because it's something that they used to take for granted, because it used to just operate without anyone thinking about it. When the political climate seems like it's out of whack, well, the whole world might feel bonkers to people in general. That's just the way that it works. If politics feels unstable, everyone else starts to question things. And we start to feel unsettled and scared in our nervous system. We feel like the things that we rely on to keep things in order are not functioning well. So I'm going to do what I can as an individual to take things under my control and keep myself and those I care about safe. That is our human inclination. And it makes sense, right? We've all been there. When things feel out of control, we start grasping for control to feel more regulated. But how did we get here? How did we get to a place where things that are happening in the media and in politics, how is it consuming so much of our day to day life? Well, let me paint a picture for you of an average person's brain and why, in this current climate, our daily routines might be setting us up for failure when it comes to our response to the political climate, the things happening in the world, and what we're seeing in the media. So let's start where we all start. We wake up. And maybe you're someone that when you get up, you immediately have a cup of coffee, or maybe you're an energy drink person, which is a topic for a whole other podcast. But at least we're slightly jacked on caffeine at this point, right? Like most people usually have some kind of caffeine when they wake up in the morning. So not only now do you have the cortisol spike of just waking up, but also add caffeine on top of it. Next, a lot of people turn to consume some type of media, whether that's turning on the news on their television, opening up their laptop and reading about the news, scrolling on social media. Maybe you're super fancy and you read a paper newspaper. Whatever it is, a lot of people start their day consuming this type of information. So, what happens in this process? Well, maybe we're a little amped from the cortisol spike of just waking up with a sprinkle of caffeine. And now we're probably feeling not only awake and ready, or at least slightly ready, and you're probably feeling a little scared. Your brain probably saw some signs that triggered it to go into fight or flight, whether it's because of the rising prices of products that you need to buy at the store, whether it's because of the wars that you're seeing, or planes crashing, people being treated unfairly, whatever it is, you are probably feeling scared and angry. And at this point, You don't even have access to the deeper thinking parts of your brain. You are now in caveman fight or flight brain, ready to fight a lion at any turn. So maybe next on your to do for the day is to leave for work. You're driving in your car, maybe you're in some traffic, and someone cuts you off. Well, your caveman brain tells you that person is trying to take you down. They are trying to ruin your day or whatever that narrative is. But it's probably not telling you something helpful, like, oh, that person must have something really important that they're trying to get to. Or maybe that was a mistake. Maybe they didn't see me here. Nope. Your brain is sure they are here to fight you. Anyone ever been there? And your day carries on, and you start to subconsciously find every little bump in your day, like you are being personally attacked. And the cycle repeats day after day. And each day of the same exposure strengthens these neural pathways, these ingrained thought processes of there is this enemy who I must be angry at, and they could be around every corner. You likely won't be conscious of this, but it's happening in the subconscious parts of your brain. In virtually every case, our perception is that part of us staying informed about what's happening in the world and in politics is in order for us to be able to help those we must protect, whoever the perceived victims are in the situation. And we are convinced that somehow we are a part of a bigger fight to protect those who are being harmed, as long as we keep constantly updated on that information. And unfortunately, our actual tangible level of benefit to the individuals at risk are often very little. When our political climate is like it is right now, people are extremely divided. Our brains as a society end up being affected in a non helpful way without us even realizing it. We are actually going down a path each day that is taking us away from what we actually want to be doing with our lives, with our energy, and with our brain power. So I know you're probably thinking at this point, man, this episode is a downer. How do I fix that? Well, I have some tools for you. So let's just start with where we all start, the beginning of our day. Now, go ahead, drink your coffee, maybe have your energy drink, fuel however you want to fuel, but maybe wait to consume any kind of news or media. Do something fun to start your day. Fill your bucket, move your body a little, put on some good music, dance. Read a few pages out of your book, create something nourishing. Just put some good energy into your brain, some good thoughts flowing. Then, when you want to know what's happening in the world, take time to prepare before you consume. I'll say that again. Take time to prepare before you consume. I like to visualize this almost like a person in like a boxing match and someone's about to punch them in the stomach and they like brace their core. That probably sounds intense, but the media these days can feel that way. Prepare yourself to be hit with intensity. Make sure you are calm, focused, and ready. Don't let this information hit you when you aren't tuned in and you're not even paying attention. It will do more damage than when you're set and ready for it. The next thing is go out and find it. Go out and find the information that you want to consume. I have a rule of thumb here. If information pops up in a news feed or comes to me, I don't consume it. I try not to click on the links that are sent to me, and I try to only consume what I go out and look for. And I do that for a couple reasons. But one big reason is usually when information is getting aggressively pushed to you, there is an ulterior motive. So I would personally rather go out to resources I trust and consume it there. Or if I'm curious about these resources that are coming my way, I'm going to do some research on them. I'm not going to click on the link, but I might even go to that website directly by typing it in, maybe do some other research, maybe look it up on Reddit, whatever you do. As much as I can, I don't want to allow others to determine what I take in. I want to try and make sure whatever I'm putting in my brain when it comes to the media is thought out and not just like a trash bin of every random thing being sent my way. Next thing I do is to make space for gray. I try to actually intentionally look for the gray areas. Often, when things are emotionally charged, it's our brain's inclination to make everything look black and white because it's easier for the brain to process information that way. It's more efficient, and our brains love that efficiency. But truth often lives in the gray. And we can't get there if we are sorting everything into black and white. So I train my brain to look for the gray, like, hey, gray, I made space for you. Gray is so good for our brains. It teaches the brain that it's okay to have that cognitive dissonance, that discomfort of not knowing right away where to categorize something, but taking in all that information. Some will be black, some will be white, but also some will be gray. And give yourself a pat on the back when you find it. It could be anything as simple as hearing or seeing some information and thinking to yourself, I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. Or, I wonder if that's true. Or even, I wonder why they would do that. Those are all great thoughts to have because they're creating space in your brain to entertain a full, well rounded picture. And the only way to do that kind of thinking is if we are regulated and not in our caveman fight or flight brain. So choose to do this when you are feeling calm, regulated, and that you have enough emotional resources to take the impact of the intense information and be able to sort it out critically and put some of it in the gray, in the to be determined area. So that is why I say preparing yourself before you consume this information is so important. That way you have all the tools of your brain before dealing with this information. So that would be my process for consuming media in this charged political climate. Start off on the right foot with your day, take care of yourself. Then, when you feel ready, sit down and prepare to take in heavy information. Are you emotionally ready? Do you feel like you're regulated, calm, and have the tools to manage the information? If yes, then great, go for it. Next, go out and find it. Do your research. Don't consume in a way when you're letting every random piece of information just fly at you from every angle. Then, make space for gray and reward yourself when you find those pieces of information that you aren't sure how you feel about it, that leave you feeling like you've got more questions. That's a great place to be to get you on the path of a full picture. And because you are all amazing humans with incredible brains, I do want to share a bit more with you. This is for my special listeners who have stuck with me through this whole downer of an episode, but also for those who I know are here to do good in this world. When you are done consuming whatever you're going to consume for the day, really challenge yourself to find good in an area you wouldn't normally. So, say for example, the news is telling you today, and then this is a totally made up story, but say the news is telling you today that all people who wear purple are the enemy today. These people wearing purple are harming everyone who is not wearing purple, and you must avoid them at all costs. And maybe you decide to go out to the grocery store down the street from your home and you find someone who is wearing purple. They're walking in front of you at the grocery store and they accidentally drop their keys and don't even realize it. That, my friends, is an opportunity. Maybe take a moment, check in with yourself, and see what it might be like to let that person wearing purple know that they dropped their keys. It may sound like the silliest, smallest detail, but I'm telling you, it's transformative. Change does not happen when we are all amped up in our caveman brain, thinking of how we're going to fix the world from our living rooms by taking down that common enemy. That's just not how it works. That approach leaves us all scared, angry, and isolated. Change happens when we stay regulated and stay connected to all of the abilities of our beautiful brains, and when we treat all humans like humans and show up in the small moments as loving people. As someone who's been in the social work field now for decades, I can tell you that these moments where we do that little thing to help someone else, and even sometimes that person who our own brain is telling us is our enemy, when we reach out and help them, it does way more for the collective than we realize. I know this episode may have started out a little intense, but I hope in the midst of the chaos of the world, it gave you some hope and some clear tools on how to regulate your brains and show up in the world in a meaningful way. I'm so grateful for each one of you. Share this with someone who needs it today. Have a great one, guys. I hope you found something helpful here today on the Love Your Brain podcast. Maybe a laugh or a feeling of validation, or maybe just a few moments to have company while you do your laundry. Whatever you take from it, I hope you enjoyed your time and leave feeling empowered to be more you every day. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the next episode, and leave a review. I'd love to hear what you think. Have a great one.